Live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello everyone, this is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you for joining us. We are live streaming here to the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. Want to pull that up? That is a live look there from our Maryhill camera in Vancouver. Taking a look at the Columbia, some nice weather out there, and those clouds are expected to clear off just a little bit as we go throughout the day. But right now, we're going to catch you up on some big stories that are going on here around that we've been covering throughout the day. But one of them has to do with what's coming up tomorrow, and that is the No Kings protests that are taking place across the United States and possibly even more places. But the city of Portland, of course, will be having one, and the Portland police addressed that earlier today, just a short time ago, about their preparation for that, what to expect on their end, and we want to run that for you right now. So this is the Portland police addressing that.
Oh no. Come on in. Purple. Stress down day. What do you need? Oh, you want me to bring it down? What do you guys think? You need the mic stand down?
It's in a good spot. Yeah.
You're good? Cool. All right. Well, I will just hand it off to Assistant Chief Craig Dobson of Operations here. He'll just have some opening remarks, and then we'll do some Q&A about the large event we expect in downtown Portland tomorrow. All right? Easy?
Good morning, everyone. We're expecting the Second King's March 2 to happen tomorrow. We're anticipating, again, probably large crowds like we've seen over the summertime. We've been working with all of our partners to ensure that we have a coordinated response. We've been working with, we'll have fire available with us, as well as our emergency management folks. We're working with TriMet to ensure that the roads, as they close the roads, we'll be able to redirect some of the bus routes. We're working with ODOT to ensure that some of our off-ramps and on-ramps are okay for people to be able to safely participate in this event. We're also anticipating some partners such as OSP to be with us throughout the day as well. It's billed as a family-friendly event, so we're expecting it to be much like the ones that we've seen in the summer, where we're not anticipating any issues. It's just going to be a large, friendly event where we anticipate people to be able to exercise their First Amendment rights. And we're hoping that at the end of the event that they can take advantage of the decent weather and go into the downtown and southeast parts of the Portland and visit the businesses in those areas. So does anyone have any questions?
We know that there is a plan for counter-protesters to also show up at the waterfront. Will Portland Police also have a presence there as well?
So we are planning to have resources both for the event as well as down at the ICE facility as well. Yes.
Why are you using covert informants to police the ICE protests?
I'm sorry?
Why are you using covert informants to help police the ICE protests?
So we're policing the ICE protests. They're all First Amendment events, and we're not necessarily using covert resources.
Court documents show you're using informants at the ICE protests to police those?
So at times when we believe that there's criminal activity or we know that there's criminal activity in those events, we will use resources to be able to identify those that are committing crimes so that we can ensure that those that are participating peacefully and lawfully can do so and not be affected by those that are doing criminal activity.
Are they paid?
I won't comment on that.
On the event tomorrow, some other cities outside of Oregon we have heard reports that federal officers, potentially National Guard, which we know are not in Oregon, but are going to be used to try and tamp down some of the protests. Have you been contacted by federal authorities here that they might try and do the same thing in Portland?
So we have no information that there will be any federal officers in and around the march itself.
Are any of your covert informants also federal agents?
No. We're not working with the federal, we don't cooperate or collaborate with them. We have state laws that require that we stay separate. Yes, sir.
To the earlier question about counter-protesters, I know there are some demonstrations planned in downtown for tomorrow as well. What strategies does PPP have for preventing any clashes between different protesting groups?
Sure. So we'll have dialogue officers in and around the different protests, as well as bike officers, as well as motor officers to facilitate those events. And then we'll deal with any, clashes or confrontations as necessary.
Which road specifically will be shut down? And also
I don't have the route myself right now, so I can't speak to that. I think it's going to be very similar to what we've seen in the past, and so probably front a couple of the bridges and then over on the east side as well, depending on which direction they go.
Be able to confirm the exact routes.
We should be able to eventually, yes, but I don't know how much lead time we'd have for that.
Assistant Chief Dobson, in the July 25th court testimony, you said that, quote, "the folks that are on the other side of this fence have been night after night actually instigating and causing some of the ruckus that's occurring down there." And when asked if ICE was, quote unquote, the problem, you said that they were not following best practice. Do you believe federal officers are currently instigating or causing unrest outside the Portland ICE facility? And if so, have you communicated any of this to federal officials?
So I'm not going to comment about how they participate in these events.
Fedor, his testimony is out there. You can use his testimony.
How do you feel that those covert of informant operations are affecting trust in your agency?
Christina, he has addressed this, and we're not going to address it anymore. Thank you.
Is there a reason why you can't
Ariel?
answer that question?
He has explained
It's a
that there's
valid
a clear
question.
difference between having informants and criminal behavior, and also First Amendment rights. There's a clear difference.
But how do you
He's
feel like
explained
it's
it.
affecting trust in your agency?
We have great trust in our agency, and Craig, you
The
can address
public's
that.
trust in your agency, to be clear.
I believe we have a duty to ensure that those people that are down there participating legally and lawfully in their First Amendment rights need to be protected, and those that are committing crimes need to be held accountable to those things.
Assistant Chief Dobson, the mayor and Oregon's Democratic delegation to Congress has voiced concerns about use of force by federal officials. Have you seen any evidence that would lead you to believe federal officers have used excessive force?
So I'm not going to comment on their uses of force.
Why would you disagree to comment on federal officers using use of force against Portland citizens?
Again, there are pending lawsuits right now, and so I don't want to comment on things that are possibly in pending lawsuits.
All right, so we've seen previous No Kings marches. The route's supposed to end at the waterfront, but usually they do splinter off and go to the ICE facility. What is Portland Police doing to, and that's, in our experience, we've seen it get, the tensions are a bit high, right? So what is Portland Police doing to, prepare for that? What's kind of presence will you be there? And, something else that I've talked to a lot of protesters, when there is a big group of them, they do kind of fill the streets, and then Portland Police try to push people back on the sidewalks. They feel that Portland Police isn't really supporting their rights to kind of protest. There are other routes people could drive, I guess. So kind of all of that into one. Yeah.
That was a lot of stuff to unpack right there.
There's a lot of voices, and I barely got mine in.
Sure. There's a lot to unpack there. So we are in contact with the organizers of the various events that are happening today, and it's my understanding that they are encouraging folks not to go to ICE today. We are prepared for those that do go down there. It's all situational to the amount of people that are down there, of whether or not we try to keep the streets open at that time. Again, it all has to do with density of the crowd as well as other factors that we all consider, and so those are made in the moment decisions based on all of the totality of the circumstances of what's best for the community as well as those that are down there.
Can you talk about previous protest expectations? I know last year we were here again before the election, and there was a lot of prep because there was concern that things were going to be like 2020, and so obviously things weren't to that extent. So can you kind of talk about just what you're expecting from the public and what just you guys are preparing for this year, given, again, we kind of did this last year, we didn't have the outcome that was expected, and now here we are again. Can you kind of speak to that?
Sure. I think over the summer we've seen a number of protests where they've been very peaceful, and we continue to see those protests. We don't anticipate anything different, and there's no indicators that we're going to see anything different here from this, say, tomorrow's event as well. We have prepared for it with resources, and so I don't think you're going to see much different from the actual event tomorrow. Go ahead.
Thank you. For the people who don't get to make it downtown anymore, I've noticed that businesses aren't boarding up windows like they used to be. What do you make of that from a policing standpoint?
I think it's a great message that the public is, I think the businesses are more comfortable with what we're seeing in the protesting. We've seen the protesting be more peaceful. It's not like 2020 anymore, and so we're encouraged that, again, that these folks, once they're done with their protest, will end up in the downtowns visiting those shops and businesses to help encourage them to stay in business.
Craig, along those lines, can you just elaborate a little bit on the huge strides in the last 5 years, DLOs, that sort of thing, and that leads to that trust with business owners and community?
Sure. We've invested a lot of time in changing how our approach is as well, with our dialogue or our liaison officers in working with protests. We've worked on our tactics so that we're working in close collaboration with the events, whether they are in direct communication with us or whether or not we're just on the periphery. We're there to help facilitate those peaceful and lawful events to ensure that they can have a successful event, as opposed to in the past it's felt like sometimes we have maybe tried to oppose those events.
You talked about the route and working with the organizers. Is there a permit for this protest? You guys know a lot about it in advance. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I know that there's multiple folks putting in or organizing this event. One of the groups was applying for a permit, and I unfortunately didn't find out whether that got approved or what, but we've been working with them in advance to help make this successful, so that the more we know about an event, the more time we have to be able to prepare. It allows us to get all of our partners such as PBOT, ODOT, the buses. We're also working with county bridges to ensure that we can have a safe passage over those bridges. So anytime we can get a permit, or at least have communication to know ahead of time where that's going, it helps us to be able to prepare and make it more of a facilitated, safe event.
Are your informants protesters or counter-protesters?
I guess I'm curious if the strategies of PPP have changed since the last No Kings protest, given that the circumstances and the motivations for this protest are slightly different than the last time people marched.
So no, again, we're there to facilitate. We work towards, basically there's 4 principles. We work to educate not only ourselves but those that are there of what our purpose is. We work to communicate heavily with all of the groups that are out there. Internally, we're communicating our intents as well. We work to facilitate those peaceful events, as you'll see tomorrow, and then we're also there to differentiate and ensure that those that are maybe bad actors or those that are going to cause trouble, that we can make sure that they get separated from the rest so they can have a peaceful and enjoyable event.
One or two more questions about tomorrow.
Can you talk a little bit about resources, how many officers and tools you'll be using, including overtime as permitted?
So I don't have estimates on overtime. It is a delicate balance for us to ensure that we can also provide for the city to have 911 calls, as well as manage this event. I know we have some, as I said, some outside partners coming in to assist us in being able to facilitate the march. And so I won't go into detail of exactly what we have, but like I said, we'll have dialogue officers there, motor officers there, bicycle officers there, to ensure that we can have a safe event, but also to be able to respond to regular protest, regular other city calls for service.
And then to be clear, can you specify who those partners are? And also, I know during the last, when we were expecting protests, there was like multiple days after when I think PDB still kind of had a presence on the street, kind of an expectation. Are we going to be seeing that? And again, if you could specify who those partners are.
So right now I know the OSP, it will be with us tomorrow. Our state police will be with us tomorrow. We've reached out to the county. The county will be with us as well. I believe we have some motors coming from one of the outside agents, I think Hillsborough, but I don't want to uninclude somebody who might also be providing some motors for us with that. We continue to have a presence down at the ICE facility on a daily basis and continue to monitor it.
Great, Jordan and Shelby, and then we got to get them to the next point.
Sir, so since 2020, there have been some changes in the law and policy regarding crowd control.
Correct.
Right? So how have those changes from what you've observed so far affected Portland Police Bureau's response to protests outside of ICE, and how do you expect them to affect their response tomorrow, if at all?
There were several law changes in 2021, and they're not going to necessarily affect how we respond. They affect how we can use certain tools at certain points in time, depending on the situation. And so it won't technically affect, we're expecting a peaceful event, and so it won't have really any effect on how we respond tomorrow.
Is there a myth or a misconception that you're like, oh, I just wish people understood this when it comes to these No King protests?
In what way?
Like anything that you read online or that you wish the public understood more, in the sense that like you see that, you know, maybe something's not incredibly accurate or people are saying one thing and it's actually another. I just always ask this question in press conferences, and if you don't have one, then that's fine.
So there is a lot of information flowing from lots of different voices right now, and I would encourage people just to try to find the truth somewhere in there. We're always asking that folks follow us during these events. We try to give out accurate and timely information at all times to ensure that people have trust and can rely on us to be able to give them the most accurate information during these events.
Thank you.
Thank you
Do you have
guys,
a size,
appreciate it.
size estimate for the crowd tomorrow?
That's a great question. With the weather, it could be thousands. I mean, we've seen up to maybe 50,000. We don't know. It's going to be somewhere in between several thousand and probably 50,000-ish.
We do not have an official count.
We don't have an
so-
official count, though.
Thank you.
Do you guys know
Thanks,
how much
Chief.
overtime you're gonna be? This can be on
Not
the
yet.
email too.
Not yet.
We don't.
He said,
No.
yeah.
Can you upstairs? Thank
All right, so there we go. That was that news conference there, just covering how the Portland Police are preparing for the No Kings protest that's going to be there in downtown Portland over the weekend, and many, many other cities around the region, around the metro area, around the country. So, but that was the Portland Police addressing that. We'll have all that up to date as well at kptv.com. We've been following along with everything that's going on. If there's ever breaking news, we'll have that for you as well. We did mention the weather. I will just pull this up here. There's a live look from our Shriners camera of downtown Portland, as I mentioned at the top. For our team has said it's going to start clearing off. It does kind of look like it's doing that, clearing off here throughout the day. But if you want to know up-to-date weather, the Fox 12 weather app is a great way to do that, or at kptv.com as well. They'll keep you informed of any kind of changes in that. That's where I go. That's who I get my news from. So when it comes to the weather, so I definitely recommend that. But we have plenty more for you here throughout the afternoon. Again, I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now. We live stream here every weekday starting at 1 o'clock. We go throughout the afternoon. So more coming up. And speaking of weather, we've got the Fox 12 Weather Podcast video edition. We're going to be talking to a scientist from Lewis and Clark College about spiders and about how many spiders are around. It is Friday here, but we figured that's a good one to take you into the weekend, and more. If there's breaking news, we'll have that as well. So a lot happening here on Fox 12 Now, but we're going to take a break here for just a few. We'll be back right around 1:30 with that weather podcast and video edition. You won't want to miss that. Talk to you then. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.